Welcome down to Devon Koi Pond. Well, another cracker of a sunny Devon morning. What a week. Weather's been beautiful this week. Hasn't been so good for me though. I've been lied up on my back all this week. Was hoping to get up round and catch James one evening, but haven't even bothered to contact him. Just been on the floor with a bad back. Barely able to make it to the toilet, let alone anything else. So the fish have been a little bit neglected. I've managed to come down here and feed them. When I've been up and on my way to the toilet, that's about it. That's the only times I've got up, toilet and there's something to eat. Otherwise I've been lied down. Fantastic. That's the way to have a week off. Yeah, great. Well, can't really film what I was going to film today. I was hoping to swing the net around and catch a couple of the chags that have been in the pond. They went in 2018, so they're 4 years old this summer. They were not a year old when I got them. They were about 6 inches. They were touching the 6-inch mark. Got 3 chags. I was going to fish them out because I need to do a little bit of a treatment on the top of one of them. He's got a dodgy scale and a red spot, but I can't swing that net around in the pond. So there's a bit of a change to the program I was going to do. I'm going to talk about feeding your koi. So the thing about having a good filter system on the pond is it being capable of handling all the food you can put in and all the food that the fish can eat. Now I'm moving up literally onto my peak of feeding now. Temperature in the pond's up 19-20 degrees constantly, and over that during the days with the sun on it. Fish are really hungry, absolutely ravenous. Right, haven't fed them yet this morning. Pond's looking a bit like a cauldron. As you can see, plenty of bubbles around, so you can tell I've got some protein floating around. But the food, right, I've got a lot of fish in the pond, and they aren't absolute monsters, but they're all pretty big. And this time of year, they will munch their way through about 300 grams of food a day or more. So I'm feeding them 4 times a day at about 120 grams a day, at about 120 grams a time. Like, got a mix that I throw in, but they seem to favour the mix. I've got a few fish that don't come up to the surface to feed. I've got one black koi that I also want to hook out with a net and show you, because you will not have seen it. I've had that one 15 years or more, but she's a big lady. She's in the bottom. She's only been netted twice, maybe 3 times in those entire 15 years. So I want to get her in the net and have a look at her, just to check her over. She seems fine, but I barely ever see the fish because she's black and she's in the bottom. She feeds off the bottom, so I've got to put in some bottom feeding stuff. Plus also I've got the 2 babies in the pond who do not stand a chance at the surface with the others, so I have to bottom feed with that. I'll show you what I feed in a minute, and then we'll carry on with the amounts of food as I give the Vortex a clean and the upflow. As you can see, very cauldronish this morning. Fish are just waiting for breakfast. But this is the amount of food that I pop in. This is one feed, first feed of the day. I'll get 3 more like this and possibly another one as well. And there's over 100 grams of food there. And my filters can handle it. At the moment, got very low on all the pond tests. So I'm fine with all that. I'll pop in some food a minute and set the filters up ready to be cleaned, and you can see what happens here. First off, I'll give them some freshwater shrimp. This always gets them ravenous. That's some dried freshwater shrimp. High protein pellets, mix of 2 sizes, 6mm and 3mm. And on top of this, a few sinkers as well for the babies and the black one. So that's that little lot in. Now they're not quick eaters, my lot, because they seem to get food whenever they like. So they're never starving. As you can see, the water's looking good. I'll come up and munch on that in a minute. But I'm going to shut everything down and get the filters ready for a clean on the bottom in a minute. But chucking in this amount of food, you have to make sure that your filters can handle it, or your water will just go sideways. I do like to be able to feed the fish all they can eat. I don't heat through the winter, so this time of the year they're looking to fatten themselves up. As you can see, they're in no rush to come up for it. But they will. They'll chomp all that, and they'll probably take half an hour to an hour to eat all that lot. But they will munch their way through it. But I'm going to shut off the bottom drain in a minute, just run up on the skimmer, keep the top filters going, and sort the bottom out ready for a clean. But it's important you don't overfeed. If your filters can't match what the fish need, then you need to sort your filters out, get some more filtration on it. You want to be able to feed them literally all they can eat. This will get some size on your fish, because they'll get a very short growing season if you're unheated. I'll leave you running on that a minute, and I'll shut everything down here and start me clean. I might speed it up a bit. There's a bit of action. It'll take me a minute or two to get the speed I'm moving to get this lot underway. And I've got everything turned off here. I'll just pull the plunger on the Vortex, drain that one down. Just going to give it a couple of purges and a blow round with the hose pipe. I say it hasn't been done for 4 days. My back just hasn't been good enough to bend down, do anything like that. I got my little pulley stick with the hook on the end, pulling the valve up. And I'll also turn the air on, put the boil in there. Outflow. That's enough of a clean on that one. I do pressure wash it off once a week or just over, once a fortnight I suppose. I'll have the pressure washer out and do it over. That's enough of a clean on it for now on that. And the problem with putting the brushes in the bottom, they're going to fill up with khaki. and you can see this black crap on here. Look, this is what's been coming off the pond walls. Horrible. I'll just blast that one off with the hose pipe. Don't normally get wet hands when I'm cleaning the filters, but this summertime water's warm. I certainly wouldn't leave the brushes in there in the winter, I don't need them. But this black stuff blocks up the grid in the bottom as well. It doesn't give me a chance to feel like getting wet hands. Back again when we trusty stick. This one chokes up with the black slime. Main reason I had this one in, I was getting newts and such like actually getting into the pond. So popping that one in the bottom stops it. I'll give my purge a minute. This black stuff has just got into the 1.5-inch pipe in the bottom, and it's just not sucking it out that fast. Speed this up a second while it goes down. Pump's sucking air as well at the moment. That's why it's a bit noisy. Plus also this one boiling away. I'll stick the camera in there in a second so you can see it. No one likes playing around with fish poo like this, least of all me. I don't. But having these brushes in the bottom here with this black stuff's more or less been a necessity. I dread to think what a drum filter would have been like with it. It would have been blowing every blooming couple of minutes. We're getting down there, I'll give them another purge. While that's running down a second, have a look in here. So that's the moving bed boiling away, or the fixed bed boiling away in the upflow. I'm only going to dump that once. Once should be enough. And then that's the bottom of the system done. And thank goodness, because I don't want to be bent over for too bloody long. The Vortex is dumping down now, so I can reset this and then dump that one out. Stick your back over here out the way, and we'll get on with this. So now this one's empty. I'm going to just drop that one back in the bottom. Put the brushes back in. And refill it. I'm only going to fill it up just to the top of the entrance pipe, because I'm going to drain the water down from the Vortex. So I'm not going to bring it up, let it get up higher than the pipe. Don't want it to come up higher than this pipe, so I'm going to drain that one down. That'll do for now. I'll pop the moving bed down the drain. Once that one's pumped out, I can just let it all refill. Quite a performance, especially with the brushes in. A lot less dramatic with just the other stuff, because it's just pulling a few valves. If I haven't got the brushes in, it's dead easy, but with the brushes in, but I'm going to be leaving them in until I'm sure there's no more of this black stuff coming out. It's nasty stuff, sticks like shit, absolutely horrible it is. Been dealing with it now from that video last week. This is another week, still dealing with it. I'm not impressed with that resolve in this way. It certainly kills off the blanket weed, but this black stuff, I don't like that. Right, and now switch the sump pump on, suck the rest of the water out of that. I've had no problems with using just a pond pump as a sump pump with the solids that it's pushing. They aren't that bigger stuff. It's not giving me any problems like that. As soon as that one sucks dry, which you'll hear in a bit, I can shut the valve off and let it refill. I'll backfill that from the top, just leave the bubbler on for now because it settles the K1 micro in the pot. I'll leave the bubbler on and then turn it off when I'm ready to put the bottom drain pump back on. Again, I'll probably speed it up a bit. There she goes. So that's that one empty. I'll now shut the drain off on the bottom of the upflow. Turn the pump off and I can let it backfill from the easy pod up there, which is getting its water from the skimmer at the moment. I'll let it backfill and fill up. Still leave it boiling to settle, and any dirt that comes out of that then that goes up through, which is still loose, will get caught in the easy pod. And when I clean the pods, which will probably be tomorrow, I'll get that out then. They aren't actually very dirty these days. The upflow takes 99% of it. The pods are doing a final polishing on it, which is nice. And switch the answer back on. Just crack the lid of this one loose a bit. This allows the air to come out. And then under gravity the water will fall back down through the pipe, so I shut the easy pod off. Which is a valve I fixed the other day. So now this will just fill up to pond level. A little air bleeder here. I turn the air off out of the moving bed. Turn the bottom drain back on. So that's the bottom drain back up and running again. See, there's still quite a bit of dirt in this one, but it'll sort itself out. Put the cap back on the upflow. Take my clothes peg back off the water level monitor, which is still working a treat. Yeah. There we go. That's that. Just put the hose back on to fine bit a minute. As you can see, that water clears pretty quick once it's back up and running. I'll sit happily like that. Hasn't done me any good doing that, but it had to be done. So give it another few days. Hopefully my back will be right and I can get on top of this properly again. Now I've unsettled the fish with their feeding on that, but they're polishing into it, they're halfway through it. Now with this, with the air going again, that'll be up and I'll soon pop it down. But the food is all important. Summertime, you want to be able to get as much food down them as possible. Literally that way they'll grow. These were all a little bit stunted, the older fish, because they were in a smaller pond down the bottom of the garden. But it was all I could afford at the time. Took me a long time to save up to build this, especially knowing as I wasn't fit enough to do the digging and the humping bit myself, having to pay someone to do that for me. That was a major cost here, and one of the main reasons I haven't got a drum. I did think about it at the time, but it was £2.5 grand. I just could not find. I'd have preferred, if I'd had spare £2.5 grand, I'd have spent it on another motorbike. Right. So from down here in sunny Devon, hopefully next week I'll be catching a fish or two. That chag there being one of them. Centre gobbling there, still showing a little bit of carp pox on its tail. But that fish is 4 years old, and its brother there just coming up over it. Gonna have those two out, give them a sizing, see what they've done in 4 years. They're Cuttlebrook koi. They came from them. I had 3 chags from them in a bit of a deal. They weren't expensive, they were still under £25 each, or around that mark each, I can't remember. Yeah, they were under £25 each, which is the most I think I've paid for a fish. But we'll be hooking those out next week, hopefully. My back's up to it, and these greedy little guys can get on with their breakfast. But we'll catch you all in another video next week, when hopefully I'll do a bit of netting for you. Let the pond top back up here, and let me sit down a minute, give me back a rest. Right, so those of you out there in the ponding community, happy ponding. Bye from Devon. Catch you all in the next one.